Now guys, I have a very simple question if you're watching this video across Africa. The question is, do you think the person who is running your country as the president or prime minister is the best qualified person to be in that position? For example, in South Africa, do you think that Cyril Ramaphosa was the best qualified person and there was no other person who could have run South Africa in the best possible manner? Do you think William Ruto was the best possible candidate to run Kenya and there was no other person who is much more intelligent, much more smart, much more qualified to run Kenya? In Ethiopia, do you think Abiy Ahmed is the best? In Nigeria, do you think Tinubu is the best qualified person to run Nigeria and that there was no other person who would have been given this position? Now, I say this because the other day I was reading something regarding the whole thing about kakistocracies. Yeah, so the definition of a kakistocracy is a situation in which a country or a region ends up with a leader who is the least qualified person to be in that position. You know, it is like, for example, you have a hospital, you need a doctor, for example, or you need an engineer, and when it comes to recruiting, instead of going for a person who really got the best scores in their university exams, the person with the most experience, you go for the least experienced person, the person who literally failed the exams. That is the one you go for. Now, Africa has a very serious problem. The leadership in most countries has been made in a way that only few persons can ever become president. For example, in South Africa, we have Cyril Ramaphosa, we had Jacob Zuma, and other persons. Now, if you observe keenly, you'll realize that most of these candidates are persons who have been in politics in South Africa for a very long time, and they most likely don't have even a very good track record. But the system is made in a way that you will only find yourself with the worst possible candidates as president. If you come to Kenya, for example, we had the previous election, we had William Ruto, we had Raila Odinga, and we had other people. Now, the system in Kenya is made in a way that you'll only find the persons with the least qualities, the least qualified persons. You'll end up with Raila Odinga, you end up with William Ruto, and if you observe the track records of these persons, you realize that they don't really have the best track records to even become leaders of these countries. But since the options are the only two, they are the only two as the options, the others are literally weaklings, then they end up as being president. And people celebrate that they have elected a leader. In reality, they have elected the least qualified persons as leadership. Now, this is even worse when you find yourself in a situation like Uganda, where the ruling candidate will never allow any other person to win elections. Yeah, you do elections as a formality. Now, this is the situation in Africa. And guys, I think if we are to move into prosperity, we need to have a system in which if a person ever became a leader, let's say in the 1990s, they should not qualify to be a leader in the 2000s. You know, if you were a leader, you are a member of parliament, you are president, you are prime minister in the 1990s, you are over 40 years, you are 50 years plus, you should not even be thinking of becoming president. Let's allow other people to become leaders. We get new ideas. We get to grow the country. We move away from this system of recycling and recycling and recycling. Thank you guys for watching this video. In case you want to reach me, you can always reach me through my contacts in the bio and everything.